On today's show, I want to talk about protectors. We all have them, and there are several different types of protectors, and I'm going to go through the list alphabetically. It's not exhaustive, but I haven't done it before on the show. So if you're into that, that's what you're going to get. And I'm going to link it to the holiday season, to Christmas, because there is a connection. Welcome to the Dream Interpretation Podcast with Michael Sheridan. We don't have Sandy today, so you're going to have to suffer with just having me. Protectors. Let's start with that. Let's start positive. And we always try to keep the show positive. This is educational. The more you know about this, the less fear you will have, because you'll understand how to navigate what can be difficult waters, let's say. But why do you need protectors, and why do we have protectors? And most of you might be saying, well, I don't know that I have any. But I think everybody listening to this show would agree they have a guardian angel, or at least hope they have a guardian angel. That's your first protector. I mean, it's an angel with a sword drawn, capable of fierce battle, and does go into battle for you all the time. So we all have them, and there are many more than the guardian angel. But why do we have them? Well, here's where I want to draw the link. This is 3 days before Christmas as we're recording this. And Jesus' ministry was about a few things: teaching people how to get to God through his sermons, but also healing the sick. But how did he heal the sick? How was it depicted repeatedly throughout his ministry? It was done by casting out demons from people. And again, this is the link. If Jesus comes to the planet, and you believe in the divinity of Jesus, I certainly do, then what is it that he's doing all the way back then that we are ignoring now? Most people in their everyday life just completely gloss over that. So I have here just a list of some of the times Jesus cast out demons in the Bible. And you're going to know these stories. First, in the synagogue, this was the first recorded instance where Jesus commands an unclean spirit to leave a man. And that's in Mark 1:23. Then a wild man with many demons is freed, with the demons entering pigs, and the pigs jump to their death. That's in Matthew 8, Mark 5, and Luke 8. A deaf and mute man is healed because Jesus casts out a demon and restores his speech. That's in Matthew, Mark, and Luke as well. A woman's daughter, Jesus casts out a demon from her. That's in Mark 7 and Matthew 15. Mary Magdalene, Jesus casts out 7 demons from her. That's in Mark 16 and Luke 8. And then the other thing he does is he empowers his apostles and disciples to cast out demons. So in other words, this doesn't end with him. The need to keep yourself hygienically clean and keep your sovereign space clear of spirits still is a requirement today. And anybody working in this field is very familiar with that. So what is your view of that? The fact that he does that throughout his ministry, he expels evil spirits, let's say. They say demons in the Bible, but demons are very specific things. But there are many different types of attacks that can be done to people. And our protectors and our guardian angels are there to help us from those attackers. We are in a dark place deliberately because we come here to heal and purge the darkness that we have within us. There might be fear or doubts, or I don't like speaking in front of people. I don't like sharing how I feel. I don't feel loved. I'm not able to love myself. And you might not think, oh, that's darkness, but it is. And we live a life where we expel that, hopefully, by following the life plan that we have. And hopefully also we will get in touch with aspects of us that are already healed. Gifts that we have, maybe a hands-on healing ability or a counseling ability. Usually, though, there's an obstacle in the way to getting to use that ability. It might be a lack of self-worth. So you don't feel good enough, like, who am I to stand on a stage and talk to people about this? And you need to overcome that to get to the point where you're comfortable using a gift that works really well for you. And we say on the show all the time, the obstacle isn't in the way, it is the way. And that's what that is about. Your personal growth is from taking fears that you have and using them as a catalyst to transform yourself to where you no longer are held back by that fear. You become a stronger person. That's your growth. That's you raising your spiritual vibration. The whole point of your life. And then you can use your special abilities to help other people. Anyway, I'm digressing. Let's talk about some of the different types of protectors. They're alphabetical. Centipede, and these are just ones that I've come across in dreams and I've explained to people and channeled what they do. So a centipede sounds like a funny thing to have as a protector, but when I look at these, they're very big. They're on the ground. Anyway, they've short-range detection mechanisms. So everything in the spirit world has a signature that is a frequency or a set of frequencies, including any beings in the light. And what centipedes do is they neutralize the particular frequency that your attacker is using so that it totally depletes them. And that's for short range. That's important to know. Then we have dragons. This is everybody's favorite. And we could do a whole show just about dragons, probably have before. They protect you from remote attacks. So somebody who is some distance away attacking you via whatever means whatsoever. But the reason they do remote attacks is because the fire that they breathe is so powerful that it deals with your enemy, but they can't use it in your space because it would hurt you. So it has to be remote attacks. But that would include if I'm sitting beside somebody and they're being used, or even if they're willingly allowing themselves to be used to attack me. So it looks like a local attack, but it originates remotely. Dragons can deal with that too. They're at the level of archangels in the sense that they can move between dimensions. So they can chase your attackers in ways that most other protectors cannot do. Then we have eagles, and what they do is they extend the range of your protection. So whatever other abilities your protectors have, it's extended by quite a distance by having an eagle as part of the group. So they work as a team. What else have we got? A gorilla. They really are good at hand-to-hand combat. If you find yourself in trouble and you know you're being attacked, and for many people listening, you'll know what attacks feel like. The gorilla is in there taking the blows for you. It's amazing what they do. And if you get pulled from, say, this phase to another phase, or from this dimension to another dimension, which is types of attacks that people can do on you, the gorilla will typically go there with you and be in that dimension, cut off from everybody else, just like you, and still getting beaten up because it stayed loyal to you and with you. But it's still fighting for you. It's amazing what these beings do. Okay, so let's stop at gorilla, and we'll come back in a moment and talk about more protectors. So what are the types of attacks that people can use? And I say people on purpose, although I tend to say people for spirits as well. It's generally another human that is doing something that is going to affect you. Even if they call in other nefarious spirits are going to be part of the attack that they call on you, it's still a person kicks it off. So what can an attacker do? They can call nefarious beings in to attack you, or they can attack you with their own skills. Quite often, when they're attacking you, they're not attacking you directly. They will infiltrate another person and attack you via that other person, using skills that other person doesn't even necessarily know they have. And they do that on purpose because the system tracks who's doing what. So if I was to attack somebody directly, say I'm nefarious and I attack somebody directly, the karmic system will spot what I'm doing and set up some kind of retribution because of that action. But if I was to attack via somebody else, then the karmic system sends the retribution to somebody else. So I skip it. I'm bypassing the safeguards in the system. And so nefarious people are always interested in accessing the abilities of somebody else. And they do that either directly themselves by moving into the space, seeing what somebody has. And we've had many shows where we talk about people stealing gifts. It usually shows up as somebody breaking into a hotel room and trying to take an egg or eat an egg. Or if they want to mess with somebody's gifts, then they will scramble the eggs. And so that means that the person can't use their own gifts. And that's just kind of like a vindictive attack on a person to cut them off or stop them from being able to do what they do. It all happens. So the next thing that they can do is call on infiltrators to get into your space and just mess with you. And we do talk about that a lot. What is an infiltrator? What it is horrible if you could see it. It's like at least two angels, but can be more, who are damaged on purpose, damaged by whoever set them up into this configuration. And then they're kind of stitched together. And when you can see them, they look like a large cockroach or something like that. But before they do something to you, they will get their own particular power back, become strong. And so it's kind of like they stand up, become a particular shape, and then can attack you whatever way they do, whatever the skill they had as an angel before they were deformed into that configuration. And then they go back to the cockroach shape. I mean, if you could see these things, you wouldn't want them near you whatsoever. And a lot of them, they just kind of get in your space and then they mess with your ability to channel or ability to use your other gifts. And you need to be able to get rid of them. Now, we teach you how to do that in our channeling class. And in fact, we use Jesus to clear people. We call on Jesus, just like he does in the Bible, to expel the spirit that is inside the person. And infiltrators are pretty strong if you consider that they're two angels. So getting them out requires a good bit of work, which is, of course, easy work for someone like Jesus to do. The next type is infiltrators who are in you to damage your systems. And they're more conscious, but they're in there like wrecking all the connections inside. So breaking your channel, unplugging lots of things that are going to affect your health in various different ways. It takes them a while to do these things, so you don't ever have to get worried that I got infiltrated and I didn't know and the infiltrator was there for a week. That's nothing. You can get rid of them. There's never going to be a problem. The next type is walk-ins, and we've talked about these on the show before. There is no such thing as a good walk-in. Walk-ins come in to take over your body, and they start from day one. Again, it takes them a while to do it, so if you catch them within a few months, you're fine. You'll be able to get them out and undo anything they did. A friend of mine who runs a popular podcast had a walk-in as the guest on one of her shows. And when she told me she had booked a walk-in, I couldn't believe it. And I said that there is no way I'm going to watch that podcast. And I can't even believe that you have this person there. And she said, oh no, I talked to her beforehand. And she told me that this is by agreement. The soul that was in the body was going to cross over, and this was a preordained thing, planned in her life purpose. And then the walk-in would swap spaces and the other would go back to the spirit world. And I said, because I know from experience, that is not how it's happened. It's definitely different. And the soul that was originally in that body is still in that body. She disagreed. She said, I already asked her about that. And then she had the podcast. And then afterwards, I heard that a question had come up in the podcast where somebody asked about the other person that was there, the other soul. Because she said, okay, I took over this body at this date, like a decade ago or whatever. And I came here with this particular mission to help people and show them the way and all that sort of nonsense. And I say nonsense because that coming from somebody who's willing to steal another person's body is nonsense. Anyway, her response was that she thought the other soul was gone, but she discovered that the soul was still in the body. She had refused to move on even though she was meant to. Now, she wasn't meant to. And she had to do a kind of an exorcism with this other person to get the original inhabitant out of the body that she was now in. Now, does that sound like a preordained, planned thing? No, that sounds like exactly what a walk-in will do. They come into your body, they kick you out. They can't kick all of you out because they kick all of you out, the body dies. And so there's always going to be that original soul is there. But they start shaving away at them to such a degree that there's just the necessary percentage of the original inhabitant is still there because they need them to be there in order for that body to still function. And I've done dreams on the show from people who are walk-ins and they think the dreams are for them, but they're not. The dreams are still for the original soul that was in the body, and they show the original person being held hostage over and over again. This is what I see. The original person is being held hostage, drugged in a bed, and in the dreams, they always are saying, my captors think I'm unconscious, but I'm sitting here plotting away to try get out of this mess. That's all the time. That's what I see. And we've done that over a few years on the show, many times. So those dreams are there too. There's other things that show up in those dreams, like how to identify attackers, but that's okay. Let's switch back. Let's do more protectors. But I'm mixing them on purpose because this is why you need protectors, because there are these nefarious people on the planet and beings willing to do their bidding. Know that you have protectors because this is true. So I stopped the gorilla. The next one we have is a hawk, and a hawk allows you to go into very dark places. So typically you want to be somebody who helps you get free from attacks and things like that. It protects you from ambush and protects your other protectors by doing the first strike on attackers. So the first strike then weakens them so that their threat level can be ascertained. So your other protectors then know, oh, here's what this being coming in can do, and they can deal with that. And it creates this circle of peace around you. The next one is a horse. This connects you to your energetic source to strengthen what you already have. Then we have a Pegasus, flying horse, and they're very protective of your energy boundaries. They meet your attacker right at the border to ward them off. So like if you have a Pegasus and somebody's coming along into your space, then they're going to be right there, almost like a goat, like bumping heads with you so that you don't even come an inch into the space of the person they're protecting. It's really cool if you have them. Then we have a raven, and this interferes with entities when they are close. We'll stop at raven there and then go back to attacks. And sticking with the walk-ins, a lot of the time what I've seen is a person agrees to let the walk-in in because they don't fully understand what they're going to do to them. And the walk-in comes in with particular abilities, including whatever it's stolen from others. And so they can enhance your own sense of strength or connection to where you feel like you have abilities that you didn't have before. Again, it's all just a ruse to trick you, make you feel good, delude you into feeling powerful, whatever it is, whatever your Achilles heel is, that's what they're going to play to. But once they're in there, they're going to be doing what I said. They're going to be shaving away pieces of you until you're not strong enough to live without them. And that's the horrible thing that they do. And it takes a very skilled person to get them out at that stage. It can be still done, but after a year or 2 years, you're in a bad shape if you've got to walk in. And that's the shape they want you in. They don't care about you whatsoever. It's just purely them caring about themselves. And what I see with people who allow this to happen and persist, they get confused about their own history or where they've learned particular things from. Like I've met people who've walk-ins who say, oh, you do dreams the same way I do dreams. And I'm thinking in my mind, yeah, you do it the way I do it because I taught you. But they don't even remember that. And they get confused about their birthday. They get confused about their place of birth. And they will often say, I figured it out. My parents aren't my parents. Like crazy stuff that would make you go, oh, I'm worried about this person. It's sad when you know what the solution is. And if you could deal with it the way Jesus deals with it, which is just to expel that spirit, then they go back to normal. All the confusion goes. But there's a few things that can go wrong with that. You expel the spirit and the person wants them back because they're so dependent on them or they like how it feels, again, without realizing that this is so damaging for them. We've come across that where we help people clear something and a few months later you check in with them again and they're reconnected to that bad source. And there's nothing you can do. You can't stop stupid. If somebody wants to be stupid about this and bring things in, there is nothing you can do to stop that. So just give those people a wide berth. The other type of person that I would be wary of is somebody who says, oh, I don't believe in anything nefarious or evil beings or anything like that. There's a special category for a person like that. They're idiots. And you need to look at it that way. They're either idiots, which is okay, but they shouldn't really be talking from a place of ignorance, or they are similar to a familiar in vampire lore. Now, that's only lore. But a familiar in vampire lore is somebody who wants to be a vampire, wants to be turned into a vampire. They don't have any powers, but they do everything for the vampire. They look after them during the daylight hours, all that sort of stuff. And so somebody who tells you there's no such thing as that, at worst case, they're an idiot. And at best, they know what's going on and they don't care and they want to trick you because they are happy with those beings getting and attacking people. So what else have we got? Going back to the types of protectors, we have a snake. Well, it's not really a snake. This one took me a while to see properly. It's more like an evolved Komodo dragon. And the ones I've seen, it's part of their body, but it's like they're wearing a purple cape. And it hovers rather than stands on the ground. And it's very hard to see because it can play with your mind. And its power is to confuse, hypnotize the attackers and lead them away from you so they can't get you. So a very powerful protector to have. The next one is a shapeshifter. They take the form of your attacker's nemesis and they ambush them with force. It's really fun to see because they just charge at them and they strike fear in the attacker because they've taken on whatever the one thing they really don't want to come across. Now, they're extremely capable fighters on their own, especially in short bursts. So it's not like just pretending gets them out of it. And when they appear to you, like if you have one, they take the form of your favorite animal. So for most people who have this, they're going to think, oh, I have a beautiful dog that protects me. The next one is turtles. They protect your gifts. Nobody can get past their defenses. They put your gifts in a vault, and any access to the gifts comes through this deep energetic vault that they have created where time is slowed down. And so they have no problem whatsoever dealing with anybody who's coming to try to get your gifts. Basically, nobody can get your gifts. If you have a turtle, nobody can get your gifts. It's just how it is. They're only accessible to you. And then we have a unicorn. I like this one. These quickly raise your vibration to push you out of harm's way. And they can quickly lift your mood or switch your perspective to a very positive one. And I've talked about these on the show before. So it's basically like, say, for instance, you lose a child. Think of something extreme. You lose a child and you're going to go through many years of grief and overcoming the trauma of that loss. But eventually you're going to get to a point where instead of looking at the negatives on the loss, you're going to be remembering the beauty of your child, the wonderful times that you had together. You're going to be like very thankful for the experience that you had, for the amount of life that you did share together. And most people will get there. What a unicorn will do is instead of that taking you 9 steps, they'll get you there in 2. So they will make you see the positive in a very quick way. But this will be your philosophy throughout life. You will know, hey, I'm able to look at the positive in things pretty quickly. Yeah, I can be really knocked down, but I find within a few days, I'm looking at it okay again. That's because you have that protector. Anyway, that's the protectors. There are many more. I know today's show is a little bit different than all the other shows we've done. I just thought I'd do it a little bit differently because Sandy isn't here. She can't stop me. The other thing is huge connection to Jesus and all this. Think about his ministry. Think about what he did in all the healings that he did is expelling. They call it demons. Don't worry about the terminology. There's many different types of attackers, but they're just using demons for everything in the Bible. There are ways to defeat all of them, and there are ways to protect yourself from all of them. We teach those things in our courses, but be wary of people who allow themselves to be infiltrated or allow themselves to have walk-ins, who then are not going to be spreading gospel to stick to the time of year that it is. They're going to be spreading untruths that sound like gospel, but they're really designed to trap you and catch you, which works. It'll work. And then you're going to need help to get out of that. One thing I will add, a lot of people will be like, oh, especially if you're very Christian, saying, well, I don't like going against the Bible. Here's another thing to realize. In 325, there was the Council of Nicaea, presided over by Emperor Constantine, he insisted on it. He paved the way for over 200 bishops to all come and meet under him to settle disagreements between Christian factions. That included determining the divinity of Jesus and his relationship to God the Father and many other things. That council moved the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday. Now, you can look for that on the web. There's a lot of nonsense written on the web, but that's the council that did it. And they moved it because Constantine's wife believed in the Egyptian sun god. So anything connected to the sun god was going to be allowed. So they moved the birth of Jesus from the 6th of January to the 25th of December, which was closer to the resurrection of the sun god. They also got rid of resurrection They moved the birth of Jesus from 6th of January, which is still celebrated in some places in Europe, from 6th of January to 25th of December, because that is the rebirth of the sun god, with the 21st of December being the shortest day of the year, 25th rising again. They also took reincarnation out of the Bible and replaced it with resurrection, which again suits the Egyptian sun god. Lots of things have changed in the Bible. Don't hold the Bible up and beat other people up with it unless you know the history of the Bible, and then don't even do that. Jesus talks about forgiveness. The way to God is within. Forgive your enemies. Turn the other cheek. Very new concepts for the Bible. Most of the Bible is like an eye for an eye. God's a very vengeful God. And Jesus says that isn't him. That's not how it is. And changes all that. But even in this council in Nicaea, they excommunicate and expel anybody who disagrees with the set of agreements that they came up. That's a horrible thing to do. This is a group of people who are talking about love and forgiving your enemies, doing this to their own brethren because they disagree on changing, say, the day of celebration from Saturday to Sunday. Anyway, be aware of being duped, whether it's in writing or on podcasts or anything like that. Even be skeptical of all the things that I say. And I say that to everybody who ever does our courses. We teach people how to be able to discern. Now, not everybody we teach keeps that discernment up, but that's what you want to be doing. You want to be able to make a connection to your own guides and then ask them, hey, do you agree with what Michael just said? Or do you agree with whoever? And if they say no, then ask them, what part do I need to disregard? And I know when I'm working, they're not going to disagree with anything. That's fine. And that's why I say to people, learn how to do it and check yourself. But we should all be doing this. We should all avoid getting duped. Make it your New Year's resolution. See you next week.